Most gay men that I work with know exactly what they're done with. The relationship that's been running on empty for years, the job that pays the bills and nothing else, the version of themselves they kept presenting, even when they knew there was more. What do I want? That gap between knowing what you're finished with and knowing what you want instead is exactly what this session is about. If you're new here, welcome. This is the Coaching Sessions, which is a space for gay men who are ready to move forward in their relationships, their choices, how they see themselves. Please hit like and subscribe because it genuinely helps more men find these kinds of videos. Before we get into today's video, if you're a gay man who knows there's more and you want to connect with other gay guys on a similar path, the Freedom Community on School is where that happens. There's conversation, genuine connection, plus it's ad-free, just like social media should be. There's also a ton of resources, including videos, courses, and masterclasses. You can connect with guys around the globe or come and join one of the live calls every week or one of the monthly live Q&A calls. I'm in the community every single day offering support and cheering you on. Come for the lessons and stay for the banter. It's free to join and the link is in the description or scan the QR code on screen now and I'll see you inside. For years, I was the person that kept things running, said yes when I meant no, kept the peace, and I was good at it. The cost when I eventually looked at it honestly was that I'd stopped knowing what I wanted. Not because I was confused, because I'd spent years and so long answering everybody else's questions that I'd never learned to ask my own. So here's a question I want to put to you today. What's the story that you tell yourself about being visible, not to other people, but to yourself? What's the version of you that only you know? And how often do you check in with him? Because when you don't know what you want, you end up moving on somebody else's compass. What keeps things smooth? What keeps people happy? What avoids the difficult conversation? And that's not a flaw. That's just something that you've learned over the years of answering questions to everybody else. I remember sitting with a client once a couple of years back, and I asked him one of the questions I always use in sessions. What do you want more of? What do you want more of in your life? And he sat with it for a while because he didn't answer straight away because it's a hard question to answer when you've never considered it. And it was interesting because as he sat with it, I thought to myself, actually, when was the last time I answered that question for myself? Not for a client, not for a workshop, but for me. And I actually couldn't. And I was thinking, I'm like, what's going on here? I'm coaching people and I've not even answered that question myself. And that was a bit of a wake-up moment for me because I'd lost this realization because I'd been so focused on being useful to everybody else that I'd lost track of what I wanted. At 51, at nearly 52, I was on autopilot for so long that I couldn't tell you what I was moving towards. So the shift didn't arrive as planned. It arrived as questions. And these questions, well, they're not complicated. The ones most of us avoid most of the time. Thinking about what are you craving more of, even if it doesn't make sense yet. Not what does it look like on paper, not what do you feel like you ought to want. The thing that keeps surfacing when you stop moving long enough to notice it, what comes up for you? The one that's usually easier to sit with, the one that tends to land differently is what are you continuing out of obligation? Not habit, not duty, but obligation. The thing that you would stop if you were being completely honest with yourself. And then there's this one. If you stopped managing other people's perceptions of you, what would you do differently? Just sit with that one for a second because it's such a deep and meaningful question, and it's so important to realize what the answer is. Because when you start to answer these questions, it doesn't have to be perfect or all at once, you start to get a clearer picture of a man who's been there all along, a man who knows what he values, what costs him too much, where he wants to go. That's what visible means to the man who's paying attention and building a relationship with his own instincts. Now, for me at 52, I look at life through a completely different lens than I did 10 years ago or even a year ago. I'm more aware of how I'm spending my time on myself, no longer the version of myself keeping everybody else's temperature under control and comfortable. When you start to see yourself as a whole person rather than a set of rules that you play for other people, something starts to shift. Decisions that used to feel impossible start to feel more like choices. You start to build a bit more ground beneath you. So, one more question. Who are you being right now? And is that who you want to be? Not the version the world has decided that you ought to be, the people around you, the one that you would choose if you felt free enough to choose. Picture yourself 6 months from now, a version of you who's been asking himself these very questions honestly for 6 months. Think of it. It's like a Tuesday morning. You wake up, you know exactly what the day's for. And it's not because everything's sorted or peachy, but because you've got this sense of direction that belongs to you, my friend. The internal conversation is different. The way that you make a decision is different. What you say yes to and no to, what you let pass, that's not some far off, unrecognizable person. That's you, my friend. With a bit more honesty and self assurance behind you, it starts with a question that you take seriously. So here's what I want to leave you with today. What's one way that you can start to back yourself today? We're not overhauling your life, but just one thing, something that belongs to you. Drop it in the comments because I read every single one. I would love to hear how you're going to start backing yourself today. And if you're ready to do this work alongside some other guys, some other gay men who are in a similar season of life, taking themselves seriously, my coaching container, the Freedom Community, is open and the link is in the description below. Let me leave you with this. Being visible to yourself isn't a project. It's a decision that you keep making day after day. Until the next session, my friend, take care and be well.